Hey again, it's Jason from Fraser Valley Rose Farm. Today I want to talk to you about how to prune a tree rose in late winter or early spring. You may also hear of this called a standard rose. So a standard rose or tree rose is a grafted rose that is grafted on the top rather than the bottom. So I mentioned in my video on own root roses versus grafted roses, there are some ways that own root roses will just never compare. This is one of them. That on a grafted rose like this one here, it's built to create a certain shape, and the shape of a tree rose is something like a lollipop with a stick that comes up from the ground and then this rounded head on it. Now the challenge there is, of course, that naturally your rose is going to want to do something rather different, and this is the rose after a year of growth. And you can see that while it initially expanded out rounded, it now has this tendency to go upwards and create the shape of, say, an inverted umbrella. It's just going to keep on growing up on a 45-degree angle and spreading out above there. So your goals for pruning this rose are no different than a goal that you'd have for pruning your shrub roses in the ground. That is, you want to eliminate damaged, diseased, crossing branches, any weak or spindly growth, and you also want to return it to a pleasing shape and size. The only difference is your standard for what a pleasing shape and size is for this will be different than what it is for a rose in the ground. Let me give you some close-ups so I can show you the difference. So here's the base of the tree rose, and never you mind the buttercups that are down there, I'll take care of those. And I'll follow up here that this is the uninterrupted stem of the rootstock variety. And you can see, if you look real close there, that it has the remnants of what used to be buds, but those were rubbed off and made inactive in the process of favoring what is the top stock variety, the Scion variety. And you can see off on the left here and to the right, then another one to the left and another one to the right. They've grafted in a number of the Scion buds that have taken over the growth of the rose, and then directly above that they terminated the rootstock. So the rootstock is no longer growing its own, it's sending all its energy from the roots up to the Scion variety. Now the goal in pruning this is to eliminate things like, well, you can see there, I'm going to see if I can get a better angle, that there's some dead wood in there, some brown dead wood. Also, obviously, I've left a number of old leaves and elongated shoots and weak leaves. And inside of here, you may be even able to spot a couple of places where the stems are crossing and just getting in each other's way. So I'm going to set up the camera on a tripod and show you how I quickly eliminate that and bring it back down to the size and shape that's going to produce an attractive plant this year. So starting with a clean, sharp pair of pruners, and you know, never hurts to throw a little extra edge back on there just to make sure that it gives you clean cuts. And now I'm just going to start by cutting away to the general shape that I want, because that'll help me to see where everything needs to go here. And just taking off some of the really tall stuff that's sort of obstructing my view. Cutting it up high like that has the side advantage that it's taken off all those old dried leaves from the previous season. I'm going to make sure I get rid of this dead branch here. And now I'm going to be more finely attending to shape. So I'm looking for the balance this way, I'm looking for the balance this way, I'm looking for the balance this way, and I'm being careful not to let too much of the growth aim directly up or directly out. So I'm trying to make it so that it will branch a little bit lower and create a little bit more of that rounded shape. And this is going a little too upright for me, so I'm going to go ahead and eliminate that. Here we go. Got to choose some winners and some losers here. And for this one here, I'm actually going to lop off that whole section there, and that should encourage, hopefully, this stem to shoot again down lower here and to fill out this side a little bit more rather than just going straight up. And that is almost the whole job. I see a couple of brown nubs here that I'm going to get rid of. I see that a little branch here is moving in this way and this one is moving into the same area, so I just have to choose a winner. And that is generally, aside from a tiny bit of cleaning up of brown nubs, that is all I'm going to do to this tree rose on this cutting. Let me show you some other examples. This one you can see got cleaned up a little bit more before the winter, so it's in a generally cleaner state that I can see a little more on it, but I still want to eliminate some of these stems that have gone way out. This one's way out to the right and it's going quite upright. I would favor from these two here, this branch down here, which is more likely to create a little more horizontal and a little more rounded of a shape. So I'm going to go ahead and favor that one. And in the center here, it's a little congested, so I'm going to eliminate that one there. Over here, bring it right down there. This one here, take it down a little more. I can see a dead stem in here. It's brown, so I'm going to eliminate that. Pull that out from the center. Okay, this one here, you can see it's going just about straight upwards, and that's not what I want. So I'm going to eliminate that at a lower down bud. Hopefully it can come up at a better angle. This one here, done. That one there. I'm not paying particular attention to looking for outward facing buds because obviously this one could express, but also it could go back and express one deeper down. So I don't spend a lot of time thinking about that, but if I see a nice outward facing bud that I can prune to, that's fine too. This one here. Now in here, it's a little congested down here, so I'm getting rid of that. Get rid of this. And this, and I'll maybe take these ones that are a little bit thin and bring them back down. So once again, you can see that I brought it down to a more generally rounded shape, emphasizing the ones that move outwards rather than the ones that move upwards. I have one last one to demonstrate on here, and maybe on this one I'm going to play a little make-believe and pretend like this is one during the middle of the season. So obviously right now you can see the whole structure of it, but during the season these would have been flowers that were just spent. And during the middle of the season you aren't going to do a heavy prune like that. Your whole goal is to get it to bloom again rather soon after the first set of blooms. So the only thing you might be doing at that point is, of course, removing the old flowers, so deadheading, and just a light tidying to return it back as best you can to its rounded shape so that you can get another flush and another flush of blooms during the season, but that it still doesn't start turning quite misshapen or quite out of the shape that you'd expect for a standard rose. So instead of going right back down to a few main branches for pruning in the middle of the season, you just focus on those spent flowers and maintaining back a little bit of shape, and then let it go again. A quick note on pruning timing. I did the ones outside now at the beginning of February when the risk of major frost, major cold damage is over for my plants. That's a judgment call. I can see though that the flowering shrubs outside, like forsythia, are starting to bud up and bloom, so I don't think I'm too far wrong on that one. These ones inside here are in containers, and I cheated ahead and did those in the middle of winter when I had some time to prune roses, but I think that's okay too because I did it inside of a greenhouse here and they're protected from the risk of subsequent damage. Alright, if you have any questions about the pruning of tree roses or standard roses or any rose questions in general, drop those below the video. I'll see what I can do to help. Thank you.